Now, what turned for you? When did you decide this actually isn't working and I'm going to change something?
Okay, well, when I ended up in Fran Barnett Hospital, and I think in the chapter's called Asylum for the Hopelessly Insane.
Yes, I thought that was so funny.
And I think I'd been in this quite nice hospital that was in the suburb and had beautiful grounds and was well run. And then they didn't want me anymore. It's like they couldn't do anything with me. I was like a very unruly teenager. So it was a bit like, okay, Fran Barnett, like it was like the loony bin where you just were dumped. And people were there for like 10 years, 15 years, 30 years. So it was a long-term, long stay. And it wasn't like a nice holiday place like the other hospital. It was like pretty hectic, like these big old Victorian wards with the high ceilings and, you know, rows and rows and rows of beds and like your metal locker next to your bed. And
almost like a prison.
I suppose, in fact, one of the other inmates who was there when I was there, she had just come out of Holloway prison, or no, they'd sent her there because for some reason from Holloway prison. And she said, oh my God, she said the food was much better in Holloway prison. So, yeah, it was a bit like that. But anyway, it had beautiful grounds and it had a wonderful place where I could do art, occupational therapy, this big old barn where I could sit and work on these tables with all these crayons and colors and sheets of paper. And so I couldn't eat the food, that was so disgusting. I think I just lived on bananas and peanuts and bottles of milk. But what turned it for me, I think because it was so extreme, Fran Barnett Hospital, and it was a bit like, oh my God, is this like where I'm going to end up? Like, do I really want to end up? I was 16 by then. And I thought, well, actually, no. And so it's like I woke up, I thought, well, okay, I've got a choice. Okay, I can't kill myself because I just haven't managed to.
Not working.
Yeah. I can't go crazy because somehow that was an escape. When I actually tipped over and had a completely psychotic episode, that was great because I was taken out of this horrible reality that I couldn't cope with. So anyway, those two things weren't working for me. So I thought, okay, just make a decision that you are alive, that you're going to stay alive, and that you're going to give it your best shot. So it was making that decision that was the turning point. And once I'd committed myself to staying alive and being alive, then I was coming through it. Then I could really start coming through it and coming right and enjoying life again.
Now, what's life like for you now?
Very different. Life's very calm, and I live in Muizenberg with my mother and my 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I grow vegetables and I go for walks on the beach, and sometimes I go for a swim.
Sounds pretty incredible.
Yes, so my life's very, what can I say, placid and calm. Yes, so I mean, I enjoy my life.
And how do people react when they hear your story? I know you just had your launch at the Book Lounge in Cape Town. How do people react? What kind of emotions does your story bring up for them?
A lot of people have started sharing their stories with me, which is very touching and very moving. And I think they feel because I've maybe exposed quite raw parts of myself, that they can also then feel free to say, well, okay, there were times of my life where I also went off the rails. So at the Book Lounge, there was a couple of people came up and shared similar stories with me. I was so frightened that when my book came out that nobody would want to talk to me and my family would hate me.
No.
And I was like thinking, oh no, why am I sending this out into the world? And it's been really amazing that actually it's had the opposite effect. So people have sort of said, oh, we didn't know it was like that, or they've said, oh yes, so okay, and then they've told me their story. So that's been amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can get Ruth Carnason's Girl on Edge at all good bookstores, and if you've read Ruth's memoir, let us know what you thought in the comment section below this video.